All right, everybody. It is Happy Aloha Friday here. It is July 12th. If you're seeing this on YouTube because you missed it live here on Twitch, if you're not a big fan of Twitch, this is where you go. You hang out. Everybody here saying, how's it? And to our YouTube friends, just the same. But for us here live, Happy Aloha Friday. We're going to start running some donos here that have been boosting up here. It's been going on for a few days. And then we're going to hit some Wheel of Cheese and just kind of cruise. Today's a cruise day. You know, my energy's good. I want to, but it's a cruise day. So let's start cranking. Really quick, I want to say hi to everybody here on the stream, of course, my usual suspects. Also, hey, just came in. Hugh Jason, how are you? Thanks for coming in and leaving a comment. Oh, thank you very much. Just left a really super cool comment. Everybody here, at least in the chat, let's say hi to Hugh Jazz. Oh, Hugh Jazz? Hugh has 95. Is there a play on that word, on that profile? Hugh Jazz? If it is, you got me there. So let's say hi to him and welcome to the community here. Okay, guys, let's do this. We're going to start with our very first song from the Dono Catch-Ups. This is coming from about half a dozen from yesterday. First one that we're dialing into right now is Senor Wee. Yes, wee. And let's see what the first song of the session is going to start with. The song is called After Dark, and the name of the band is Tito and Tarantula. Is that a band or is it a game or I don't know? We're about to find out. Let me make sure my volume's up and let's go. All right. Giving me a slight Doors vibe already.
Watching her strolling in the night, so white, wondering why.
Boy, that really does give me a Doors gem.
Burns bright, wondering why it's only after dawn. I find myself in her room, feel the fever of my doom. Falling through the floor, I'm knocking on the devil's door, yeah.
It's got a little bit of, the George Benson. On Broadway. Sorry, I just blew it for everybody.
I wake up to find her gone, and a note says only after dark.
I love that guitar.
wants her
So it says here that Tito and Tarantula is an American, an American Chicano rock and blues band formed in Hollywood in 1992. Is that kind of the same era as Los Lobos, right? Somewhere like that. And as far as the track was concerned, I think some of you guys said that it was part of a movie or something. Let me see. What does it say? Oh, yeah. How do you like that? Oh, no, here's the video. Huh. And this was released in 1996. Oh, it's considered Latin rock, Latin alternative, and pop as well. But I'm sorry, the whole track, though, just kind of laid me into, it was from Dusk Till Dawn. Okay. Wait, isn't that, what's his name? What was the name of who's that famous director of which I can't remember, but I could see his face. He looks like he should be in half of his movies because it's always kind of skinny and morbid looking. Tarantino, thank you. And Selma Hayek, yes, of course. Okay, now I got it. I remember. But the whole thing about the track that I found, before I just did all this homework, is that it did have that vibe of da 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 da. And a lot of even the moving around in the song had to do with that chord up, chord down. Da, 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 da. With that kind of schwarmy, swimmy guitar vibe and that kind of way off in the distance bongos and conga thing going on. The guy had a great voice too. Of course, had a little bit more of a thicker sound to it than, let's say, a Los Lobos era type track. But yeah, that was a really super chill way to start the session. Let's get on now with Crab 9000. Crab 9000. I think I saw you in the house. Is you in the house, Crab 9000? You want to listen to a band called Casiopea. Oh, I know these guys. Are you the ones who keeps dropping these on me? These guys are great to watch. It looks like they're always having the best times ever. The name of this track is Space Road. This track is from their 1978 debut album, played at a live event called Hot Sounds Island. Sound like a place I'd want to live. All right, well, let's see what this is. All right, there he is. There's Crab 9000. Let's go. Am I sensing a fretless bass with a little flange on there? I love this sound. It's like the fusion sound for like Love Boat. See, this is what I love about watching them. They're just having the best time ever. Now, you guys know how mental I am about basses, but boy, is this perfectly placed in the mix. Yeah, it's been hitting. I was cooking the whole time. Wait. Did you hear a little bit of that popping harmonics on the bass he did on that turnaround? having the best time ever. Kind of like what the drummer's doing here. Bass work reminds me of a bass player, a fusion bass player in the 70s named Greg Lee. Oh my God, it is a DX7. Did you hear the harmonics on the bass? Very Jocko-ish. Jeez. This is great. I like how the piano player's like following along with this campy mallet sound. That seesawy old analog-y synth sound. Sorry. God, that bass player. Oh, frick. Man, I swear, Crab 9000. Every time I watch these guys, it just brings the double joy watching them play it. Definitely coming from that era in that 70s, right? This was the 70s where, you know, Weather Report and bands like this had progressive kind of fusion vibes to their arrangements and stuff. I think that was an era that was very short-lived of that kind of... I think maybe it was maybe about an 8-year era before the 80s turned around and it really shifted, you know, the Chick Corea, George Duke, Stanley Clark, going into the 80s and bands of that nature, growing with, you know, new sounds, new ways to arrange and compose. I mean, with different kinds of, you know, different colors, let's say, since synths and other things were coming into play. And listening to some of the more organic jazzy fusion, Latin jazz fusion bands. Also had a lot of this was a very fun, uplifting track. As a matter of fact, I think every single track that I've been turned on by Casiopea that I've heard is just, God, it's just freaking feel good. you know. And of course, you know, I'd be remiss if I didn't throw, you know, my uncle's band in there back in the day, Caldera. But I mean, that was that kind of vibe in that 70s. You know, there's stuff in here that sounded very familiar. I think because that was that influential Calderon, Calderon, calzone, whatever, cauldron. That's what it is of creativity. Anyhow, yes, thank you, Crab. That was killer. So I appreciate that. Okay, next up, The Driver, 458. We're going to get into a band here called Keeno, featuring Kate Wild. So apparently this is, it says electric. Let's see. One of my all-time favorite genres of all time is drum and bass. This particular artist, Keeno, is a well-known D&B artist in the genre and is known for using orchestral sounds for his songs. It's not every day you hear string, brass, and piano in a genre mainly known for its wubs and dubs. Very well said there. All right, let's do this. This is coming to us from The Driver, 458. The name of the artist is Keeno, and this is called Behind the Glass.
There's no need to run and hide. It'll eat you up, spit you out alive. It's a waste of time trying to fight it. You'll spend half your life half surviving. Oh, I've seen behind the cloud, everyone a silver lining.
A little bit of a Beyonce vibe with the voice. Yeah, no. But I do like the string pizzicato architect. That wubba dub at the bottom. I like this, man. Real sparse in the arrangement, gives you headspace to glide, and the drum and bass aspect of it isn't really intrusive, where it's, you know, digging into like a repetitive pattern so much that you can't just chill with it.
I know sometimes it gets loud. You let a little in, but never let it out. But don't define yourself by those around you. What you're going through.
This is one of those tracks where it makes me feel like it's okay to be okay. You know if you know.
There's no need to run and hide. It'll eat you up, spit you out alive. It's a waste of time trying to fight it. Just half your life, half surviving. Oh, I've seen behind the cloud, everyone a silver lining. 'Cause the feeling never lasts, just like momentary lightning. It'll come and go. So if you need to hear it, know you're beautiful.
A track like this would have driven Rick Beato crazy. I'm just saying. Very super simple, chill track. The whole pattern of da 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 da. You know, it was definitely very wide open, and some of the spaciness with the ambient work that was going in and out of it a little bit. Obviously, it really just floated around the vocal performance, which gave a hell of a lot of space for that. And it was just kind of like a nerve-numbing trance-style electronic vibe for me. It's just sitting there and cruising and listening to it, you know. But very simple, very chill. And I did hear, obviously, the influence that was put down there as far as being, you know, using a little pizzicato, you know, or a little bit of that string for that bop, 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 bop. And then, of course, the vocals did sound a little bit like Beyonce, though. That's that vibe. I don't know. This was released 3 years ago. And so, where's this? Okay. Yeah, so this was Keeno Behind the Glass featuring, Kate Wilde. That's who the vocals were. Ugh. All right. Yes, very Aloha Friday vibes. Couldn't have said it any better. Next up is Park Pal. Park Pal, is you in the house? Park Pal wants a song called Eizouken. Oh boy. Uassiuian. And the artist is Kashtin. So his message is, an Innu, or an indigenous North Quebec group, Kashtin, were one of the most successful First Nations music acts from Canada, recording most of their music in their traditional languages in the 80s and the 90s. Oh, good. So we're going to hear something totally cultural, raw, and organic then. Let's go. I think this is a low recording, guys. Very folksy in vibe. It almost sounds like this is uploaded in mono. Gotta smoke a bowl. got a little bit more of a Euro folksy vibe. With a little bit also of God, I'm trying to remember this artist from Colorado. He died when flying his own private plane, his own kit plane with the glasses. Yes, John Denver, thank you. Has a little bit of that vibe. Very folksy. I think it's great when, you know, I get introduced to different types of music around the world that, you know, when cultures are transitioning and considering what it is that I educate visitors here in Hawaii is that transition that happened to the Native Hawaiian culture, how music influences already probably a way of them being musical in the first place, but then they get introduced to an instrument and it changes a little bit of the creative environment, in this case with music. I don't necessarily know that in this language for this indigenous group, would they have ever written a song like this had they not been introduced to guitars and a little more Western influences and stuff. But it's just like the Native Hawaiian culture. When we have the ukulele, a lot of folks think that the Native Hawaiians invented the ukulele. No, it actually came from Portugal when the Portuguese came here to work on the sugarcane fields. And they played these littler guitars. And when the Native Hawaiians saw them and heard them, they said, hey, their fingers are jumping around like fleas. And that is that word uku, bug, fleas, lele, jump, ukulele. And then, of course, that influenced an incredible and indelible run of Hawaiian music, but with very unique artists like Gabi Pa'anui, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, so it's nice. From my end of the world here in Hawaii, it's a privilege and humbling to be part of that process and educating that. At the same token, I recognize a band like this or a duo like this taking their language, their storyline, that's been also influenced by having the ability to play more pop culture instruments and put out a song. So, yeah, that was really, really cool. But it sounded like it was mono. So maybe this was uploaded in mono. Or maybe the output, maybe it was a mono track. I don't know. Next up, guys, Scan Visor. We are going to be doing an anime. Scan Visor. And that anime is going to be Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken. And Easy Breezy. And the requested message is, this is the opening theme for a song for a goofy and creative anime about three girls who want to make their own anime. So it's an anime about three girls who want to make their own anime. I'm already digging that. If that's what it is, that's what we doing. Okay, fantastic. Here we go. Using a slide. Easy peasy. There's that instrument in the back. I'm trying to pin it. kind of like an electro ska vibe. A little bit of a psychedelic punky vibe there. Easy peasy. Super easy peasy. That was really fun. It sounded, like I said, though, it sounded like an electro ska vibe. And I don't know if that was like a banjo that was holding down the chord in the back, but it was like, so it had like something like, I was thinking, well, I'm waiting just any second right now for Streetlight Manifesto horns to pop in on that. But that was apparently a theme track for an anime, and you guys, some of you guys kind of dug it. Some of you guys didn't dig the anime, it looks like, or just only watched a little bit of it. But I just liked the fun poppiness of it. It was just fun, bubbly, very theme. Kept you in there. I liked the slide that was actually happening in there as well. A little introduction to that. I was like, there was a lot of cross genre generalization in there, you know, and using the trap as well. But yeah, it had more of a ska vibe for me. Maybe because anything that goes like the drums is and anything that's going on the and on eighth notes, it would be the and one and two and three and four and five. But it had that whole thing. I like the vocals though. They just stayed in one little pocket, but they were having a lot of fun with the harmonies on that. So that was fun. That was a fun, fast listen. Okay, wait a second. All right, I was reading. I was trying to catch up. Kairu Hakabui. Here we go. You are up, my friend. And oh, I said Hakabui. Hakubi. Sorry, bro. Oh, more Xenoblade, guys. No message. He just says, play this motherfucker. No, I'm kidding. This one is Where We Used to Be is the song. This is coming out of Xenoblade 2. All right, here we go. It evokes kind of an emotional tug-of-war between falling behind in some darker thoughts and then maybe little senses of realizations through it. Waiting for him now. This is beautiful. If this is all piano, I'm all in. chord usage in the patterns were very kind of basic, and I think, and when I'm saying that, it's obviously I don't mean that as a dig or anything. It's like if you were to sit there and write a song that had maybe only 4 or 5 chords to it, or some small movements, it's like taking a guitar. I guess the best way for me to explain it would be if I had a guitar and the chords were, I don't know, D minor, A minor, C, G, or whatever. I could strum that. I can pick it in a particular pattern. I could revoice it. And that's where the flavor and the love and the joy and the interpretation comes from, songs that don't necessarily have, a lot of chordal movement in it, let's just say. And in that case as well, these beautiful chords were left open for that kind of interpretation where it was kind of a pensive, lift your head up and reflect and, maybe see what happened and think, pull out the positives out of it. And it seemed like towards the end of it, it just got a little just more serious along those lines emotionally. The piano just kind of slowly, meandering in with its dynamics, volume a little louder and softer. But then towards the end, it got a little more forceful. So maybe this was kind of a scene or something like that where you finally pick yourself up and you're dusting off, whatever you just went through, and you're looking out to the future and getting ready to start, the next phase of your day or your life or something like that. This had that vibe, and it was very cool. Yeah. Hey, so next up, Double A, are you lurking? Oh, I know what this is going to be like. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to sit here and take my thinker's position, because we're going to be listening to some Jordan Rudess, and the name of the track is The Alchemist. Okay, and I like, Jordan as I've only known of Jordan. Hang on for a second. I gotta sneeze. I gotta mute my mic. Thank you. Excuse me. Sorry. It wasn't what you think. Through Dream Theater, but knowing he's also had quite the career ahead of time, and he has so much fun with thank you, Square Meal. He has so much fun on social media. He likes to put on wizard hats and do a lot of really cool universe type things, and he's so talented as a pianist and stuff like that. He whips out these little bits and pieces of music that are just as like, really? So, but I've never heard any of his own work. So this is the first time that I'm going to be hearing some of his own work. So here's Jordan Rudess. The name of the song is The Alchemist. Here we go.
Down the winding stairs, a shadow in the night.
Yeah, I said a bunch of real cool shit, but I forgot since I was muted. I just love that tone for his lead work on the keyboard. It's insane.
Puffs of steam and smoke drift out of his workroom. Chimes of hanging glass swinging in the dark. Muttering and hums, explosions out of
Is that right? Just
mists of minerals burn in the candlelight. God, the sun solidified, shines like angels from
very fluffy choral background here, the chord changes.
the world will finally see what I'll always be sure of.
Oh, should be one of the simpler parts of it, metric-wise, 7/8. It's crazy. Now he just switched it around, just when I thought I was great.
I'll wait till all the stars align. Collision of the times, a ritual of sound and energy. My cauldron boiling on the fort, its purpose clear. The transmutation has begun. The moment's near.
Not necessarily punk rock.
Now I wait for the alchemy. My wildest dreams to be realized for me. My spirit thrives, reputation revived. Once my trouble is comes alive. How strange, the vapor's color change during the distillation. It rearranged.
There's a little bit of that infused old school Yes kind of vibes.
Dark red, the bubbles turn to black. All my efforts now in vain. My quest for better worlds.
That was an odd splash on the cymbal.
Such delusion fills up my brain. I take my leave. My shame devours me. How mindless to misconceive. Oh, my life oblivious to be so bold as to see.
God, a giant reverb on that snare.
A hero just let to go.
Very Freddie Mercury in the background vocals, same style composition.
A man. I am just a man.
Actually, almost ending a lot like Bohemian Rhapsody.
Only just a man.
Yeah, this track. You know, it had a lot of stuff going on there. I know that's not very decomposer of me to be saying, but there were a lot of changes and things going on. I think one of the things that you know, this goes beyond me sitting here saying I appreciate the musicianship and the tones of this and the sounds of that. As a body of work, I'm listening to this, and this was just a big sandwich of very unique twists and curves in production. Because I don't know where this sits in an album or in a project, if this is like a middle section track kind of vibe. The production, I think because I'm used to listening to Dream Theater, obviously, so I can put that out there first before I say what I'm going to say. So thinking a little more harder and gnarlier and you know, punchier mix, punchier sound, maybe punchier vocal performance or anything like that, totally different. This did have to its, there's a word I'm looking for. It really did prop itself up to an incredibly well put together track, like a Queen track, that would move itself all over the place like that. His vocals were really kind of laid back and passive and chill through the whole thing. There was no, I think emotionally the track, the track technically had just all kinds of great things going there. I think the emotional aspect of the track was a little more subdued, I think, than I was waiting to hear and listen to on this. The performance of it all was just very mellow and chill for the amount of stuff that was happening around there. You know, I have to admit, I probably was waiting for a little bit more of a harder, gnarlier guitar presence, maybe. But it's a different producer. He produced it himself. This is what he's doing. This is his his music and his style of stuff. And there were some great harmonies. There were some great, like I said, there was super killer little meter shifts that were going on in there and syncopations. But this definitely was just kind of like this on a blank canvas, just painting a lot of very unique sections that I think to listen to this is into one thing. You have to stand all the way back and just look and say, oh, I'm getting what's going on here. But I also don't have, I mean, for myself, this almost sounds like this is the first time I'm not like goobering over a song like I normally do. I think it's also, at a certain point, I was missing some kind of melodic thing to latch onto, you know, with this. But that's just a musical taste opinion. It has nothing to do with the fact that we already know that Jordan Rudess is an amazing musician, and everybody that was in there, obviously Jordan wouldn't be working with any of those musicians, and they were just as amazing, including the vocalist. So I was just kind of like, okay, you know. Maybe it needs a couple more listens too. Of course, because what I had said earlier, at first and foremost, is that I don't know where this sits in an album. So where in the story it's, because I tell you what, if anything, at very least, very musical theater. You know, and when I think of tracks like this with so many stops and starts and stuff, I'm actually thinking of musical theater. You know, what's going on, what's the story behind the lyrics. So, but yeah, those are my thoughts, AA. Very chill thoughts. I'm in a very chill space. I think that's what it is as well. All right, so let's get on with Shocked Farag. Wants a song called, it's from a game. Oh, I don't know if I've ever done anything from this. Farbrausch and Neuro. The name of the song is Masagin. And a little special note here to some visual effects some people might find sensitive in the area between 1 minute and 4:30. So in other words, just a flash alert. This is not a game, but a non-interactive audio. Wait, I'm going to try that again. Stand by. His message is, this is not a game, but a non-interactive audio-visual demo from 2008. The demo scene, in parentheses, is a computer art subculture where various groups share these creations at festivals, mostly in Europe, but sometimes further afield. This particular demo was released at Breakpoint in Germany. All right. Well, guys, let's see what this is all about. Let's go.
A monk asked Bozan, "What is Buddha?" Tozan said, "Masagin."
Sorry, the video is giving me Red Hot Chili Pepper vibes right now. That's a really old school bass they're using there. Trippy track, man. I like that pattern. That's what makes it mysterious. Kind of drifted into some kind of like a dubstep reggae, or dub reggae, or reggae dub, something like that. Just tripping out over a bunch of textures on it, you know? It's like as if you're using your DAW as a giant looper. Nice breakaway. Give us a little bit something organic in here. Sounds like it'd be an epic game for a video game, an epic track for a video game. Kind of look like Andy Williams. It's nice in a fade out like this that you actually hear some of those elements. You know, we've talked about this many times before, how producers will end up wanting to. We have an option if we're firing on all cylinders by the last, you know, let's say 8 measures of a track. You go, well, how do I want to end this? And you may not have a definitive way. And the fading, I don't think there's any such thing. I've never heard any EDM tracks kind of fade or anything of that nature, very progressively composed and produced. It's always by objectively just pulling elements out of the mix, making it usually in the fade of that, in what I would call plucked fade, a P, plucked fade. It's just starting to remove elements with the most aggressive percussive ones first. Take that out, then slowly take that out after 4 bars, and take this out after 2 bars, and then then I'll take these 2 here, and then I'll go in and out in between them. You know, whether I do it in automation and muting, or whether I just do it and chop the signal flow up or something, until you're left with something like in this case, there was just that little bit of a pattern there with that whistle just fading in the back as it kind of, you know. This is another one of those tracks that we're very chill. Once again, it's just we're going to rinse on the pattern, and how many different ways can we take it to Sunday? You know, there were a couple times in there where I was really super intrigued with, even though it was kind of pattern set, ready, and hike, run 100 yards, you know, holding that same pattern ball. There were a couple of arrangements in there that I thought were very, that's a trip. That's unique. But I don't find myself to have anywhere near the experience to really listen to this in depth, to really pull out more from it than what my, you know, ignorant level of understanding this kind of vibe is. It kind of, like I said earlier, it kind of reminds me of looping music. It's not a bad thing, but in other words, when the looper musician starts off, and he might start off at boom, and then it goes, and then something here, and then something here, and then something here, and a couple of patterns. I will say that the good shift, or the shift that made me go, was the guitars. When we had the guitars that came in, and the acoustic guitars came in, I said, okay, there's a little bit of a Heimlich maneuver for, you know, what we heard for the first 4 minutes. And I like that. That kind of nudged my listening, or got me reattuned into it a little more. But anyhow, Shocked Frog, thank you for suggesting that. I appreciate it. I do. You know I do. Okay, next up, video games are art. What do we got here from video games are art? Let me see here. We have the artist is Kayo Dot, and the song is Amelia's Theme. So I don't know if video game is here or not, but I'm thinking maybe this might maybe come from an anime. You guys tell me. I don't know. I'm looking at the thumbnail. It looks kind of anime-ish. That's why I said it out there. This is giving me that vibe of being spun around to that wall. You stick to the wall as you spin in circles. Yeah, it's the Gravitron. Trippy. It kind of sounds like it's just kind of random noodling. In the confines of the key, of course. And that's not a dig. You guys know me, I don't dig anyhow. I'm not that guy. Lisa. That squishy bass. Let's all hear it for the squishy bass. What would you consider this genre? Dark ambient now. In a very weird way, it reminds me a little bit of like a band back in the day. It was called Act. Yeah, punk rock. That's where I'm getting that act vibe from. Quirky, uncomfortably psychedelic. Has a little Yoko Ono in it. Extremely abstract, that's for sure. There's that going on back in there. Can't make out whether that's a guitar with the distortion back there or another patch. There you go. Remember we were talking about the choices in fading? Get the drums out first. Milk another track right now, maybe. Big fat analog sound there. A lot of nostalgic in the vibes there, especially with the vocals. Yeah, there's somebody that popped down a little Depeche Mode-y. Also a little of the band Act. Kind of reminded me of a little bit of a song called Snobbery and Decay. But pretty disjointed for me. I was able to get into it and kind of glide with it and stuff, but it was pulling from many different areas. I think I'm really disjointed. You guys might be witnessing the very first time during my stream ever that I'm kind of like pulled in a different energy right now. I feel like I'm being a little more, what are they doing here? I don't know what it is. I have no idea. We're in dangerous territory. What might I say to get me in trouble today? Maybe it's, well, I actually had an episode this morning that got me in trouble at the nonprofit. I just thinking that's where my head's at. Who knows? All right, next up, Lisa Wolf. Hello, how are you? And Lisa is going to have us enjoy some metal. And the song Ever Onward by the band Zeke. So I mentioned Zeke as a band when I brought up the 35007. Correct, I remember, including their bassist Jeff Matz, and wanted to tie that end up. Zeke formed in the early 90s, a hardcore punk crossover band that took cues from Motorhead and have been everywhere, including Tony Hawk's soundtrack. That's pretty big. I did some work from the band in the early to mid 2000s. Jeff and I were both into the stoner sludge metal thing and traded riffs back and forth. Oh, I like that. Trading riffs. You just sit there and you're pew, 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 trading the riffs. And a number of which would end up on an album. That's pretty killer. So this album is special to me. It was a first major label release where I had some form of credits in the linear notes. All right then, let's listen to this with a whole new set of ears, since we know that Lisa, very proud of this in so many different ways. You guys ready? Let's go. Yeah, it's got that sludgy list. Hardcore blues metal here with that sludginess. This is remind me a little more of Deep Purple. God, this is so raw. Watch out for the finish. Oh, the false finish. What a grinding track, man. But you know, for myself, listening to this, I think maybe because of the way I interpreted what you were reading, that I was maybe gonna hear a little bit more of that sludgier stoner kind of vibe. It had the tones. I think what I'm learning about the stoner sludge kind of vibe, it's a very unique tone in the guitars. Has a little bit more of a warm grind to it, if that's such a thing, and kind of this irreverence to being absolutely, I don't know if I say this right. You could feel the more of the humanization of the performance and stuff. Like it's really just, I'm kind of imagining it as when these guys are powering down on the guitar and on the bass and stuff, like they're just going for it, you know what I mean? And you could just feel it right through, you know, and a lot of it is like not necessarily, you know, extremely riffy. So you have this very unique ballsy sound of the guitars and stuff. But it wasn't as sludgy as I was thinking in my head. I guess in my head I have to read. There's many different types of sludge in there. Maybe smoky sludge instead of stoner sludge. Loved the guy's voice too. The ending was a trip. I don't know what they were trying to message with that, but that definitely was a trip. Yep. Thanks for bringing that in, Lise. I'm glad everybody enjoyed it. It looks like quite a few of you dug it. Smudge. Oh my God. So listen, guys. I'm done with my donos. Can you imagine that? I think I'm going into Wheel of Cheese. So that being said, oh wait a second. I have one more here that actually came in through Patreon that I said I would do on this here, because I have the Patreon channel and people do drop a lot of their suggestions. Let's do this one here from a Patreon, and I looked at this, I went, oh my God, I'll do it. I remember the track, but let's do it. This is really old school 80s, okay? Really old school 80s. And I don't know what kind of nerve this is going to touch for you guys, but I'm not even going to tell you what it is. Here we go.
Freak-A-Zoids, robots, please report to the dance floor. Zeke,
Oh my God.
DS, Freak-A-Zoid, DS, Zeke, DS,
Oh my God. This is definitely the Lindrum. How many of you guys were around when this came out? You know, in the 1900s. This was such a massive hit on the dance floor. I want to say it's like, when did this come out? 1982. Oh my God. Oh no, 1983. Okay. Gosh. God, I have nightmares of that clap sound. Look at that old OB8 they got up going in there.
I am now in total automation. Your every wish is my command. Take me to your dance floor.
Oh my God. The pain and the nostalgia that I feel, but it's still a great track. A funny first time. Yeah, there was that little thing there, that little trippy. Totally punk. There's that high sequence. Well, so no, good thing somebody back then didn't say music was getting much worse. But man, was that nostalgic. Look at that keyboard there. Oh my God. That is an old, I think that's the old OB8. I'm not too sure. It looks like it. But, and it had the fade out too. You were right. I'm dying. You know, but so nostalgic on that, man. But I do remember it being a super big fat hit on the dance floors because my friends used to all go to these clubs and stuff like that. I wasn't much of the club goer kind of guy. But every time, I'd like to be sitting there just kind of sitting by the bar, just having my Fresca or whatever. And every time this song came on, man, the place just emptied out. I went on the dance floor, and I just couldn't quite figure it out. I think one of the things, though, about this particular track is that what I thought was kind of, oh, that's kind of cool. I mean, I was already writing music. I already recognized, I was like, oh, yeah, DX7 with this and that and that and this and this bass and Lindrum, blah, 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 blah. But I think what was unique about this track that made me go, I can kind of see how people are kind of grinding nip on it, was the fact that the whole track, the kick and the bass were completely locked in. Completely locked in. Not that maybe that wasn't done before. You know, all the weird, the cogs of the sonic universe have to come together when a song becomes a hit. When you go, how did that? Why is this such a hit? Well, you know, and you sit there and you try to scratch your head. But I'll just go back a second. Listen to the kick and the bass on this. Wait, I'll do it back in here. You hear it's right on top of it. So, you know, I thought maybe that was kind of a cool thing back at the time where the kick and the bass were locked in like that, you know. But it was also that rhythm pattern. That's, you know, whatever it is, it takes it in, you know, and powdered Fresca.